I found out my best friend and family were scheming to replace my Chinese fiancé with my white ex because they didn't want Asian-looking grandkids. Now they're all cut off. For context, Jess and I went to the same high school and college. We were friends in high school. However, since we both went to the same out-of-state college, we have become best friends since then. We have always been there for each other during the best and worst times. However, things have always been platonic, and she is more like a big sister to me, who made sure I stayed on the right track. I have only been in 2 long-term relationships so far. One was with my ex Lisa for 7 years. We met in college and dated all through our college years. Lisa and Jess also became good friends too. After college, Lisa and I just grew apart and had different goals in life. I became boring after college, as I was working on my PhD while doing a full-time job. Lisa broke up with me as she wanted to party while I was home studying on weekends. I was heartbroken, but I don't think I ever blamed or resented her, as I understood my decisions were selfish and should not hold her back from having the best life. Jess always stood by me and comforted me during that time. Jess and Lisa were good friends, and Jess always kept on telling me that Lisa loved me and would be back one day when I was ready. I foolishly held on to that hope and stayed friends with Lisa. That was until I met my fiancé Yang. Jess has been acting weirdly since we got engaged. One of the first things she said to Yang after we got engaged was how I had planned the same thing for Lisa. It was a bit off-putting that she was bringing up Lisa, whom I broke up with almost 5 years ago, on such a happy occasion. Since then, every time we meet, Jess, without fail, brings up Lisa and how the things I am doing are all the things I had planned with Lisa. This happened when we bought a house, planned for vacations, etc. Jess always starts with some nostalgic story and then brings up how Lisa and I were so happy together. She is still good friends with Lisa and keeps giving me updates about Lisa and how great Lisa is doing at work when no one is asking for it. It felt like she was painting a rosy picture of Lisa to Yang and telling Yang that she would always be second to Lisa. I decided to talk to Jess and gave her an ultimatum, not to speak about my ex Lisa again. Jess agreed that she will not bring up Lisa in front of Yang, and I should also not treat Lisa as if she did not exist, since she is still Jess's friend. Yang went to visit China 2 weeks ago for a month, as we planned to get married in her hometown. She is taking care of her shopping as well as preparations for the wedding. Jess invited me to her house that Friday for dinner, as I was home alone. I am also good friends with her husband, and we were all just chatting and drinking in the living room. Around 7:30 p.m. the doorbell rang, and Jess excitedly went to open the door. To my surprise, it was fucking Lisa at the door. She was all dressed up as if she were ready for a date and came in. She sat down and started making small talk with me. I was extremely uncomfortable and went into the kitchen to talk to Jess. I was angry at her and asked her what was going on. She kept on telling me that it's been 5 years since the breakup and to get over it and be nice to Lisa. She said Lisa was excited to meet me and she thought we were all adults and could have a fun evening together. We had a fight and I told her that she should not have invited Lisa after our conversation the other day, and I do not want to be friends with her anymore. I went into the living room and politely excused myself and told everyone that I had a work emergency and had to leave early. I came home and called Yang. I have never seen her more furious, and she told me she is not comfortable with Jess anymore, as she has some agenda that we do not know about. I also felt the same, and I called Jess the next day and told her that she crossed a line, and I was terribly upset with her. I stopped taking her calls and ghosted her. I also told my mom and sister about the whole incident. Last Sunday, my mom called me for lunch. When I got there, I saw Jess was already there. I told my mom that I do not want to talk to Jess and couldn't stay. However, she asked me to sit, as they all wanted to talk to me. I have a glutton for punishment and decided to hear them out. My mom started by saying that Jess had been there for me all these years and only had my best interest at heart. She kept on telling me that they were the 3 people, mom, sister, and Jess, who loved me the most. Jess started saying she felt that I was making a big mistake in not having to hear what Lisa said. She told me that Lisa was my first love, and Lisa is now ready to settle down, and we can pick up where we left off. My sister also chimed in and said that they all liked Lisa more than Yang, and that we both looked so great together. Finally, my mom started saying how our culture was so different than Yang's, and it was hard for them to relate to her. I started getting their drift, and I probed more. My mom told me how our kids would look Asian with small eyes, and not like any others in the family. I asked my mom if she cared about my kids' looks more, and not about how smart they would be since Yang has a PhD. She blew it off, and I realized she just did not want me to marry Yang because she was Chinese and not white. My mom told me to forgive Jess, and my mom asked Jess to talk to Lisa on my behalf and asked her if she would be interested in getting back together with me. My mom was adamant that since I loved Lisa so much, I should be happy and pick up things where we left off, as that is the best for everyone. I have never been so angry and may have said a lot of unkind things to all of them before I left.